Hey guys, so today I wanted to talk about how to scale a web design business. So even if you're not in the web design business, you can use this information to scale anything else as well. But specifically, I wanted to talk about web design because that's a business I've been in for over 10 years. I mean, it's evolved into social media and apps, but the core started at web development and web design. So I know I talked about on this passive income journey that it's very hard to scale a service related business. And I wanted to actually stay away from the whole web design industry because if any of you guys are in the industry, you know it's a headache. You know, clients are a problem. Finding business could be difficult at sometimes, but it's just a beast of a business, especially when you're trying to scale and make it big. So I did kind of go through a few different options. I think I figured out a way that I can actually scale this in a way that'll fit the formula for my passive income journey, but I also want to just talk about how to grow a web design business in general, just for any of you guys that want to know that, and basically how I did it as well. So first off, I wanted to talk about why web design companies fail. And I've seen many of them really grow really fast, huge companies, hundreds of employees, and then suddenly they close the door the next day, they're bankrupt. And it was very common, especially maybe about 5-10 years ago. There's a big issue with web design. So first off, who needs a website? Typically if you're attacking you're going for the approach of trying to find people who need websites, it's typically people who are behind in technology, or they're a new company. So the issue with this is that if they're a new company, the likelihood of them being around in 10 years is pretty slim. As you know, most companies fail within the first 5 years. So the percentage of holding on to this for passive income is very difficult. If they're behind on technology, then you already know that they don't really have an appreciation for technology. And it's always a struggle to get them to do things. So it's a very difficult combination. So basically the way I grew my business, and this is kind of the options that all the other developers had, is you can either scale by having more clients. You could charge more. You can add more services. Or you can basically try to target a single niche. So let's just get into this a little bit. So getting more clients, you can get some salespeople, you can do some advertising. It's pretty easy actually to scale and find more and more companies that are behind in technology and people who need new websites. The issue with that is that the more clients you have, the more headaches. It's not an easy business, especially when you're dealing with a lot of content. Content like photos and descriptions about the companies, that typically has to come from the actual client. And a lot of them, even though they say they'll put it together, would drag their feet. So there's always a constant battle with doing that, finding writers for people who don't have any writing ability. You just go back and forth for a really long time and it drags out projects. So it's a kind of a difficult situation. So more clients equals more headache. So that's the one issue. One way that you can make this work is if you had the ability to try to find some sort of residual income from that. And I tried this as well, and a lot of other companies did, where you charge a monthly maintenance or you charge some sort of subscription fee. Issue with that is we're coming back to this. When times get tough and the companies are behind in technology, the first thing they want to let go is the things that they don't think is working for them. So unless you really prove with a very solid return on investment on their website, if they don't have appreciation for technology and they don't see that vision, they cancel it. And then the new companies, a lot of them, sometimes they only last like a couple of weeks or a couple of months. Sometimes it's just an idea in their head and then they just move on to the next idea. So it's a very big turnover. Even if they are trying to run a business, they do have some funding, they do have business loans. Even after 2 years or 3 years, the likelihood that they'll be successful and want to grow into, expand their website is very slim. In my last 10 years of history, probably less than 10% who came with a new website were actually growing. So, a lot of them need a marketing portion to it. Sometimes they just thought a website would just do everything for them. So basically, that's when we come into the next step, which is to charge more and add more services. So we can either add more services like doing social media marketing, doing SEO and things like that, to add more services and basically be able to charge some sort of subscription for that. But keep in mind, all these things are very labor intensive. If you're doing social media posting, Instagram posting, Facebook posting, somebody's going to have to do that. Somebody's going to be having to come up with the creative, contact the customers, get photos, get approvals. SEO kind of was a big thing for a while. Basically you can do the work kind of up front. They get a ranking and you could charge monthly for it. It's a great business model, but it was a little shady, to be honest, because there's a lot of unscrupulous SEO people out there. But even the legit way, it was difficult. If Google changed their algorithm just a little bit, all your rankings kind of fell to the next page, you're gonna get hundreds of calls from clients saying, hey, my listing just went down to the second page. We need to get it back up. And it's not that easy to get it up that quickly. Sometimes it takes 6 months to get it to where it's at. If they change one thing, the customer doesn't want to wait another 6 months for what they already paid for. So it's a very tough business. Charging more also could be that you're just starting to charge a lot more per website. When I first started, honestly, it was about 2006 where I really went hardcore into web development. Our starting price was like $500, $600 per website. Currently, right now, the average price for a full website is between $15,000 to $25,000. E-commerce, even more. So, a lot of people ask, how do you charge for that type of money? First of all, you need to find the right clients. You need to find the right clients, meaning that that they have a big vision for the website. Some businesses need a website just because they think they need one, and everyone says, hey, you need a website, so they just put one up, sometimes just for compliance reasons. But the ones that are trying to actually build the business from the web, the website is a huge component of their business. If the majority of their business model is web-based, or if it's an e-commerce store where all their business comes from the website, you can charge a lot more for the website. It is going to be a lot more work because you have to put a lot more detail and thought into it, but the payout is better, the clients are better, and everything works better. So that's a good way to charge more, is to find those type of clients. But the thing is, it's not that easy to find those specific clients in this market, especially since there's so much competition. There's so many companies that do web design, and now that a lot of people are trying to go offshore, they charge $5 an hour for what somebody here should be making about $25 an hour. So it's very difficult that way. So the best way to do this is to choose a niche. So if you can perfect your web development skills and your marketing skills in a single sector, maybe it's for doctors, maybe it's for lawyers, maybe it's for real estate, basically you can be the expert in that industry and you can charge whatever you want. A big part of that also is to showcase who you've done some business for. So if you are doing a website for a realtor, so to speak, and there's a big time realtor that you've done the website for, it's very easy to approach other real estate companies and say, hey, we did this guy's website and he's making $100 million a year in real estate. So that's another way to do it, is to be able to charge more and choose a single niche, because it'll be a lot easier sell because you have a proven history of doing things that work. So that's basically what is kind of the conventional way of growing a web design business. What I did personally is I did all these things, got it to that point, but then kind of switched gears to mobile apps. So that's something that's happening a lot in this industry as well. Since people are with their phone 98% of the day, even when they sleep, it's right by them. Mobile is really the way to go. So everything is mobile focused. The websites are mobile focused, and mobile apps are a good way for clients to basically interact with their customers. And a lot of people have ideas for apps, And that's kind of, where we fall. We do kind of the hardcore stuff. If you have the next big social network, or if you want something that, calculates some ridiculous thing for your business, we can build that, and that's kind of where we thrive. But again, it's a small market. It's not as easy to find clients for that as websites, so it's not really super scalable, and the passive income side is really not there. I mean, we charge for maintenance, we charge for updates, but most of it is work pay related. We have to do some work and then we get paid. So what we are looking for is to be able to do some work up front and get paid on the long term. But how do we do that? So this is basically what I've come up with. So the new passive website is basically, we have to attack this. So we need to make sure that we have people who are interested in technology and advertising. They need to appreciate the value of digital advertising, and technology. They can't be a new company. They need to be established. So that's a big component. So we know that for the long term, they'll have the ability to make those payments. The big headache that we talked about, which was content, we want to get rid of content. And another idea I have for a product, which I might talk about later, is to address this content issue. But this is a huge issue, and for this new passive website business, we want to make sure that we don't have to deal with the content. So how do we do this? So that means that we need to have an outbound campaign. So we're going to be doing an outbound campaign looking for established companies that are advertising and using technology. So the way we do that is we can actually look for digital advertisements out there. So either on Google pay-per-click, or what we've been doing actually right now is, you know how like every month or every week you get these mailers in the mail, and a lot of them have to do with home remodeling. There's business, there's advertisements. So there's people that's paying money on that, and a lot of them have a digital version of that. So we're looking at basically physical ads too. So physical ads, and we're also looking at the digital version of these physical ads, because all we need to know is that these companies are spending money. They're spending money on advertisements, and it's usually thousands of dollars a month. So now what we're doing is we're going through these companies, we're actually doing some research on them. Sorry about that. Okay, we're doing some research, and we're actually doing some analyzing of their website. So this includes their search engine optimization, their mobile optimization, if they have security on their website, the aesthetics of the website, how that's working, the speed. We have tools that do all this for us. We can see all the problems. If there's no call to action, they're not collecting emails, and we're creating just basically a report for them. And we're gonna do some crazy marketing campaign for this. And I'll get into that a little later, because there's kind of a catch of how we're gonna capture their attention. But basically, we're targeting these companies who already have existing websites with problems. The ones that have good websites, we're not even bothering with. It's the ones that have problems that need addressing. Because if they're spending thousands of dollars and their website is garbage, they're basically throwing that money away. So we want to help them make sure that they're getting their money's worth when they're doing the advertising, and that's what we're doing. But the benefit from this is they're spending money, so they understand the value. They are established companies because we're doing research and making sure they've been around for a while, and we don't need content because they already have an existing website. We could just take the same content, maybe throw up a few new pictures, make it look better, but we don't have to worry about them coming up with all the verbiage and the photos and things like that. So this makes it very easy for us, and what we're going to do is we're going to charge it on a monthly. So monthly subscription price. So we haven't come up exactly what it's going to be. Maybe 100, 200, 300, 400 a month. Maybe a few add-on services that's going to help them, throughout the long run. But basically, this is what we can do. It's going to be very easy for us to fix these things because we've been doing it for years, and charge a monthly price for that. And also, as an added value, if anything changes in the industry of different criteria that they need to have a good website, we'll fix it for them. That's part of the service. But as you can see, this is a lot less work every month to generate that monthly payment. We don't have to do hardcore maintenance or add-ons and things every month. It's really, we're doing the work up front first, and being an insurance policy that they're not going to fall into the same problem down the road. So I hope this made sense. Another thing that we're going to talk about later is how we can actually scale a web development company with software. But for now, the new passive website business, we're going to try this out, see if we could get a few hundred users, and that will really add to our $1 million income goal. So until next time, see you guys later.